He wants to go to the game.
Right. So
The drive, the walk, the parking.
that's fine. And then you got the sausages over there.
Yeah.
You go there?
I don't even know where it is. I don't even know where to look it. It's not all over. Right?
No, it's one place. I'll tell you exactly where it is.
Yeah.
You got to go with underneath the bleachers. Somebody
In the outfield.
you walk towards the bleachers. You go all the way down. Yeah. Okay.
Was it Jeff's? It's Jeff's.
Yeah.
No?
You go there. It's great.
I gotta check it out. Okay. If I can't find it, I'll call you.
Yeah, you'll find it.
The fee.
It's just underneath which way? The left.
Left field bleacher.
No, the right wing, right field bleacher.
Dodger Stadium has kosher hot dogs. Somebody's missing. Itai's missing. Helek Gimel Yechave daat. Siman Mem Gimel 43. Yossi, this is the question that we had, and I had a slip up and I messed up last week. So this is a makeup. לפי מנהג הספרדים שהובא בשולחן ערוך, שנוהגים לקום ב8 בבוקר לומר סליחות החל מראש חודש אלול עד יום הכיפורים, אם אין מניין בבית הכנסת, האם יכולים לומר הסליחות שנתקנו בלשון ארמית, כגון החמנה, תענה לענייה, מרנה דבשמיא, מאחל ומעשה, ואין לאומרם אלא בעשרה. I said it and I shouldn't have said it. So the question is, we know that when we say selihot, فَوَيَعَبُدْ Hashem apana v'ikra, you need a minyan. What about the other things that are in Aramaic, like Rahamanaz, Bidil v'ya'abud, De'aneh la'aniyim, Mahayel Maseh, all the other prayers in Aramaic, do you also need a minyan? It's not v'ya'abud. Or can you say that even without the minyan? So it's not a long halakha, it's a short one. When we say Shabbat, in Shabbat, Gemara Shabbat, page 12b, it says a story. Amar bar Hana. Kishayiti holecha har Rabbi Elazar lebakir cholim. Rabba bar Hana, he was walking after his rabbi, or a rabbi, Rabbi Elazar. They were visiting a sick person. Now, פעמים שהיה אומר לחולה בלשון הקודש, המקום יפקוד אותך לשלום, אותך לשלום. Sometimes he would say in Hebrew to the person, Hashem should remember you and give you peace and make you feel better. And so he would tell the person, in Hebrew. And sometimes he would say in Aramaic to the sick person, and so he used to switch it up. This is Gemara Shabbat. Now the Gemara asks, how could you use Aramaic for the sick person to feel better? You cannot pray in Aramaic. If you pray in Aramaic, you're not going to get the help of the ministering angels that bring the tefillot up to Hashem. Hashem has angels that their job is to bring tefillot, prayers up to Him. And if you pray in Aramaic, they're not going to bring it up. She'en malachei hasharet makirim b'lashon Arami. Because the malachei hasharet, the ministering angels, don't understand the language of Aramaic. And so you're praying in a language they don't understand, reject, they don't bring it up to Hashem. Now, what does this mean? It's actually a very, very complicated thing. What does it mean? It's yeah. So that's an Israeli.
Angels don't know Aramaic.
Well, the Gemara says in makirin b'lashon hakodesh. So we have to understand what this means. In makirin on the surface, you would say means they don't understand Aramaic. And so there's a couple of things at play here, and I don't have all the answers. I'm going to tell you from the outset. I am not satisfied myself with any of the answers that I have, but I'll tell you what I've read. Number one, the Mikubalim tell us that Aramaic is a very, very holy language. That's why Unkilos, Targum Unkilos, even though he was using regular language of the time, it has a certain level of Kiddusha, because Aramaic is also a holy language. Okay, fine. Now, what does it mean that the angels in Makirin B'lashon Arami, the angels don't recognize, Makir means to recognize, they don't recognize Aramaic. Some people say, just like it sounds, they don't understand it. Hashem didn't allow the angels to use this language of Aramaic. He reserved it only for us and Him. That's what some people say. And some people say, in Makirin means they don't like the language. Yes, I think you would like this one better. Some people say the angels don't like Aramaic. Why are you praying? Aramaic is a language that sort of like became like Yiddish, for example. Yiddish, a lot of Ashkenazim, they treat Yiddish like it's the holy language. It's not the holy language. It's German. It's German and English and Hebrew mixed together. It's not Hebrew. But a lot of Ashkenazim, they'll tell you, no, Yiddish is the Mama Lashon. We only learned Torah when I was in Lakewood. When I first started in Lakewood after learning in Deal, which is a Syrian Sephardic place. So they said the Rosh Yeshiva is going to give a shiur today. I said, wow, I would love to hear. The Rosh Yeshiva is a very famous rabbi over there. And the rabbi opens up his mouth, Yiddish. I'm like, all Yiddish? I don't understand. Like, why is it all Yiddish? What about Hebrew? At least do Hebrew. And so therefore, you can understand if I would maybe have a grudge against Yiddish because they're trying to make it something it's not. That's what some want to say. I believe the Gra. I don't remember 100%. I'm going to say the Gra. The Gaon Vilna says, I think, says that the angels are like, what's up with this Aramaic stuff? Why did it take on such prominence? It's not Lashon HaKodesh. And so not in Makirin means not that they don't recognize it. We don't want it. We don't like it. Pray in Hebrew. So that's another pshat of what it means. I'm not satisfied so much myself. I still have to search. We still have to learn and figure out what does this mean. But however, the Gemara, the Gemara says you can't pray in Aramaic because the angels are not going to take the prayer of the Shemayim. And so the Gemara asks this question on Rabbi Elazar, when you go to a sick person, how do you say Rahamanai Kalinach Shalem in Aramaic? You should feel better when the angels are not going to listen and they're not going to take this to Hashem. The Gemara answers, you know the answer? You know the answer? You want to guess the answer? Mordechai, what's the answer? How could you say Aramaic with his no minyan? And the answer is, when there's a sick person, Shani Chole de Shechina imo. A sick person has the presence of Hashem above him, right? Vayishtahu Yisrael Rosh Hamita, right? Yosef bowed down also at the bed of Yaakov when he was sick. When there's a sick person, Hashem's Shechina, Hashem's divine presence is down with him. And so therefore, you don't even need the angels. You go straight to Hashem. That's what the Gemara said. Shani Chole, the Shechina imo, kimo shaninu, hanichnas labakeret ha'chole, mit'atef v'yoshev lefanav b'derech eretz. When you go visit Bikur Cholim, a sick person, you have to sit down very nicely and politely with Derech Eretz, because the Shekhinah, Hashem's presence, is on top of the head of the sick person. Ubarur, שכשם שהותר לבקש רחמים בפני החולה בלשון ארמי, מפני שהשכינה נמצאת שם ואינו זקוק לסיועם של מלאכי השרת, הוא הדין שהציבור, שבציבור מותר לבקש רחמים בלשון ארמי. And so therefore, so the Gemara says that he's allowed to use Aramaic when there's a Shekhinah there, because when there's a Shekhinah there, I don't need the angels. I go straight to Hashem. And so therefore, the same thing in a shul. In a shul, when I have a minyan of 10 people, Hashem Shekhinah comes down there. I don't need angels either. And so therefore, in a shul, we pray in Aramaic. That's why Kaddish is all Aramaic. Hashta ba'agala, it's all Aramaic Kaddish, because we don't need angels when we're in the shul. Kol be'asara shechinta shadya. Anytime you have 10 people, Hashem Shekhinah comes down. וכן מבואר בגמרא מסכת סוטה שיש חילוק בזה בין יחיד לציבור. Gemara Sotah explains there's a difference between when you're alone praying and when you're in a shul with a minyan praying. שדווקא יחיד אינו שועל סליחה בלשון ארמי. If you're alone, you don't use Aramaic when you pray to Hashem. About ציבור, רשאים להתפלל בכל לשון. Inside of the shul, you could use any language you want, even English. You could use any language you want because Hashem is listening in the shul. והסביר Rashi explains שהציבור אינם צריכים סיוע ממלאכי השרת. A shul doesn't need angels. We go straight to Hashem. But if you pray at your house, Hashem set it up that it has to go through channels, and he has to go through spiritual angels that bring it up to Hashem. Okay, let me skip this.
And do
Yeah, so for selihot, you would say the answer is no, based on, is that what you're saying? You got, yeah, that's where we're going here. Okay, let me skip a little bit here and get down to the other parts. According to this, יוצא שדווקא הציבור רשאים לומר בסליחות רחמנה ושתת החנונים שנתקנו בלשון ארמי. According to this, like Mordechai is saying, if you're in a shul, but do you have a minyan? If you have a minyan, then okay, say rachamana, say bidil v'yabod. Right? Bidil is not Hebrew. Bidil is bidil. We used to say bidil in deal. Deal New Jersey, v'yabod. Bidil is Aramaic. right? About Yahid, but if you're alone, you can't say this tefillot. Or if not alone, if you have less than 10 people, you can't say this tefillot. But you should skip these prayers when there's no minyan in the shul. Not only vayabod, anything in Aramaic. Even though the Gemara Berachot says, page 6b, how do you know that Hashem is always in the shul? Always in the shul. Hashem is standing in the congregation of God. She says, Hashem is always in the Bet Knesset. Even if there's no minyan here, Hashem is here, which is why we said the other day in Halakha that if you're late, and you woke up late, and you want to pray by yourself, Manat Shaharuk says, come to the shul and pray by yourself in the shul. Because Hashem is always in the shul. Hashem Shekhinah is always here. If so, even if there's no 10 people, still Hashem Shekhinah is here. The Gemara says straight out. And so we should be able to say the selihot. However, adabar barur sheyesh dargot rabot be'hashra'at HaShekhinah. There are different levels of how much of Hashem's Shekhinah, how much of Hashem's presence is in the Bet Knesset. Be'yomah amru, in the Gemara Yomah 21 we say, Shehasra Shekhinah beBeit HaMikdash HaSheni. In the second temple, the Shekhinah left. This is the Gemara Yomah says. In the second temple, the Shekhinah left the temple. Ubevadai Hasra, it was missing. Hasra. But we're going to define it exactly like you're saying now. Hasra, it was missing. It was lacking. Obviously, it doesn't mean there was no Shekhinah in the second temple at all. We say straight out, even now, the Shekhinah is in the Temple Mount. All days the Shekhinah is there. And as writes the Rambam, the Shekhinah never leaves forever the place of the temple. We say in the Midrash, when the second temple was built and the Shekhinah came back, this blessing we say, is for bringing it back to Zion. And so therefore, we see that there's levels of Shekhinah. Sometimes there's more Shekhinah and there's less Shekhinah. So the Gemara says that Hashem Shekhinah is always in the shul. Yes, it's always in the shul, but how much is always in the shul? A much lesser degree than when there's a minyan. According to the level of Shekhinah in the first temple, if you compare to that, then comparatively, there was basically no Shekhinah in the second temple, but there was Shekhinah. Like we say in the Zohar, in the first temple, the Zohar says there was a Shekhinah ila'ah. There was a higher Shekhinah, higher divine presence. In the second temple, Shekhinah tata'ah. There was a lower divine presence. Therefore, in לדמות דרגת השכינה שבית הכנסת לדרגת השכינה הנשאת בציבור, you should not compare the levels of Shekhinah that is in the shul always than when there's 10 people there. כמו שכתב מהר"ם די לא נזנו בספר שתי ידות, וכן דברים נדים, okay? שאין ליחיד לומר הסליחות בלשון ארמי. Therefore, you should not say any prayer with Aramaic, because you need the angels. And if there's not 10 people, you still need angels in the shul, and they're not makid, which means they don't know it, they don't like it, whatever you define it. The Kaf HaHaim writes, he writes to ask a question on this opinion. Who cares if they don't understand? This is my question also. I don't have an answer to this question still, even after this whole siman. Who cares if they don't like it? So what does it hurt? It must be that it's hurting. If it's not causing a negative, who cares? What can we say? But it says
supposedly they are voting in the
okay, so let's say I say it, and this one doesn't go up. Like, who cares?
It's the point of saying that
right, it sounds like right. I agree with that. It sounds like there's a kitruk. It sounds like the mother. That's why I like the second pshat. The angels don't like Aramaic. Not that they don't like it. And the Aramaic, get out of here. And they push it away. And so you may be hurting yourself. Otherwise, let the people say, who cares? Say. It won't. If it doesn't go up, it doesn't go up. If it makes me feel good, I'm saying Mahayom Aseh. I want to sing it. Why are you telling me I can't say it? That's a great question. I think that one answer is because we don't want the angels involved. We want to go straight to Hashem. A lot of the holiest prayers are Aramaic. We don't want the angels.
What does the minyan does to the situation?
When we have a minyan, yeah, we don't need the angels. Yeah. We circumvent the angels. So the Kaf Ha'im asks, Ma bekach im lo yavinu malachim? Who cares if they don't understand? Hashem is always here, Kaf Ha'im says. Kaf Ha'im says, we talk to Hashem straight. We don't have middlemen to Hashem. Ulam, says Acham Vadia, Kushyat Kaf Ha'im timua meod. His question is a one. I don't understand what he's asking. Shaarey Talmud Aruchu, Masechet Shabbat. You didn't read with kavod to the Kaf Ha'im. You didn't read Masechet Shabbat straight out. Shelo yish'al adam selechad lashon arami. It says straight out. You can't use Aramaic. She'en malachei hasheret makirim lashon arami. And so Kaf Ha'im is a wonderful philosophical question, but the Gemara is exactly against it. The Gemara says we need the angels. So what is the Kaf Ha'im asking? He doesn't answer for him.
Didn't you say before that we want to go straight to that?
We want to go straight there. We're not praying to the angels, never, no. But the Kaf Ha'im doesn't like it. He said, I don't understand. We don't need angels.
But like you said, it's
Gemara Meforeshet.
so what do you like it from?
Yeah, that's a
The only understanding is
right. That's what I would say. That's how I would answer. The Kaf Ha'im, the pasuk, the Chol Korenu Elav, when you have him in, yeah. That's the answer. Yeah, us. Very good. And it says in Gevarim Ivamot, Ketiv, Deshu Hashem bihim matzeo. Seek out Hashem when he can be found. Mashma pa'amim she'eno matzui. Sometimes he can be found. Sometimes he can't be found. He's not always found. Uktiv. But that's not the way you're saying it here. He's saying it that Hashem is not always there for you. Sometimes you need a minyan. That's what he's trying to say. Hashem is always there if you have 10 people. If you have 10 people, Hashem is always there. If you're alone, Shekhinah's here, absolutely. And that's what he's saying. The Chol is only when there was a minyan. He's there to a certain level, but not full power. This pasuk, it says Hashem is always there, and we call him. It's only when there's 10 people. Okay. When there's no minyan in the shul, you cannot say these tefillot when there's not 10 people, and therefore you have to skip them. Dilgum. That sounds like a funny word. If you skip them. If I know the shortish of the word. I'm saying if you skip them, how would you say that in Hebrew? Dilgum. Sounds like a weird. Doesn't seem to fit the rules of grammar. V'im dilgum. If you skip them, dilgum. Yeah, dilagam. What's the vav doing in there? V'im dilgum. Yeah, but still, you don't need a vav. Yeah. Where other examples, there's no vav in the end of it. Dilagam. Go down. Break it up into 2 words. If you skip them, and then minyan comes, like we all know, you go back and you say all these pieces. So you're not supposed to say it unless there's 10 people, and that is Yechave daat for today. Yeah. It doesn't seem, something seems off with the word. Something seems off. Yariv, Something seems off with this word. Gilgul.
Close to you.
Gilgul. Give me another example.
Hindi lahat mo tam. It is word.
How do you say I paid them? I paid them. I paid them. Say that in Hebrew. Bingo. There's no vav. Shilam tam.
But they say that them shilmu.
I think it's Lexi Salam.
I'm not sold. I've got to think of more examples.
It's not Shilam. It's not I paid.